gorgeous. No Meta November is coming to a close, and once again, I have let y'all decide what I will be playing for this episode. And the overwhelming vote was for our favorite golden daddy himself, Eldritch. Now, while I will admit there was a lot of personal bias behind this poll, Eldritch is one of my favorite decks of all time, and combined with the new quarter century rares from the Rarity Collection, paired with my Unresolved Daddy issues, it was destiny for the dead to come out and play. Now, with that being said, we are not playing the typical trap deck version of Eldritch. That's not the type of fun I'm partaking in today. We're gonna give our golden boy a facelift and some friends to help rein in the winds on a magnificent adventure. If you haven't guessed it already, we are playing Eldritch Horus Adventure today, team. We are going to be capitalizing on the synergy of dumping cards from our hand to the grave and blindside our opponent with 3 completely different but incredibly powerful engines. Now, I know last episode I said I would show the list if I did 2 or better with Dynamorphia, but I think for this episode we're gonna do things a little differently. I feel really good about this build, so I'm gonna up the ante for the end of No Meta November and say if I can do 3, 1 or better, I'll show the list at the very end. Is that outrageous considering I'm playing Eldritch in 2023? Probably, but I'm delusional and this is my pet deck, so just let me cope a little, alright? Besides, where's the fun if there's no challenge? It's like I said last episode, there's nothing more vindicating than winning with a deck that you've labbed up from the trenches below. So with all that being said, team, let's get out of here and into the grave.
Did someone say graveyard? That's where we spent the majority of our month. However, I wanted to end out No Meta November with something a little bit more competitive. The issue is, I don't know if this necessarily quantifies as no meta, as this just may be one of the strongest decks ever printed in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is until the ban list came around and hit almost every single card in this deck to 1. You guessed it, we're going to be drowning in our own tears today as we mourn the loss of everyone's Lord and Sailor, Kit Kalos. So here's what we're rocking up with today. Now this may look a little different, however, Tyr is one of my favorite decks of all time and one that I got my invite with last year in Toronto. However, with the limitation of names this time around, I do think that this could be a completely different deck than the Tyr deck that we know and love. This went from being one of the best decks of all time to a gambling deck where you have to high roll a lot of your mills just to play the game. It seems a bit more luck dependent and way less forgiving. So as you can see, we're playing the Horus engine to try to supplement some of that, get cards into our graveyard, and facilitate more of our plays. But I am a little bit worried about this deck's consistency, its ability to go second, and just its play lines with all of the girls at 1. But I'm hoping today with our knowledge of the deck and just a wee bit of luck that we can avoid becoming washed up and make a splash. You're okay, buddy.
Team, I am here with the Ryan Parra Redshift and the Pot Collection, unironically.
Yes.
You spent money on this.
I can't believe they didn't assemble it for you. What do you mean?
They're like, nah, you can do it. That was $150.
Oh no, they gotta put it together for that. Come on.
And you on your lunch break? Your first one of the day?
First one of the day. It's like 3 more, and they're like 40 minutes each, so.
Yeah, that's crazy. Team, the 04 Dream is dead, just like Eldritch and Friends. We won round 1. This is already a significantly higher win rate than I expected with this Frankenstein of a deck. And I'm not gonna lie, we popped off against Jerry and his Tyr deck. Now, to be fair, Jerry has been out of the game for like a year or 2, so he picked up Tyr as his entry deck. And while the deck is still very powerful, it is now more RNG dependent than ever. And unfortunately for Jerry, he had a really bad day at the slots with these mills. Get it? It's like a double fun because we're at mills and he's milling cards. It's mills on mills. Thanks. And as I'm sure Brian's already told you, Tyr plays a lot differently now, and it's way less forgiving. So if you don't see the line or a way to get there, you're just gonna end up drowning in your own tears. With that being said, game 1, he mills into virtually nothing, simply ending on a Kaleido and a Sulik set, basically an open board because I have a filthy hand of King Sark, Thrust, Hakero, Rite of Aramesir, and Skill Drain. The wild thing is, I don't even need the Skill Drain or Thrust for this. They're just fodder for King Sark, because all this deck needs to do is power out bodies, set up the Brave board, get the Eldritch engine in rotation, and win. Game 2, Jerry sets 2 and passes, and I know one of them has to be Super Poly because he tried to use it game 1 as a last-ditch effort to no avail, so I make a blind call on my turn with Eldritch in hand to send one of the back row in grave, and never punish, baby, it was the Super Poly. God, I'm good. Unfortunately, I couldn't do lethal, and I forgot to Draco back the set, but I figured one thick daddy, back row, and a negate will be enough to carry me through whatever emotional turmoil of a hand Jerry is going through, and well,
I'm gonna just take this entire deck and it's gonna just be my fire starter.
Yo, kindling.
This deck sucks.
Chandler.
I'm 1-0. Y'all might have seen it, y'all might have not. I'm on a new deck,
You are.
Vanquish Soul. I like the idea of tagging out, you know.
It's fun, right?
It's a cool deck. It's
It's really neat. You gotta get the hang of it, but it's fun.
I've been on it. I like it. It's my first tournament with it. I'm 1-0. We'll see what's
It's a
happening.
good start, baby.
See
Good
what's happening.
start.
Good start. We got 3 more rounds, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris is still on break.
Wait, break longer?
Victor, did you win?
No. I didn't see anything that I needed to play.
Hey, you had that really big evenly activated against you. That big 1-for-1.
You know what? He managed to get the card I thought I didn't need. I needed it.
Of course.
So we are feeling hot after our round 1. We took the win against Rescuers, but moving into round 2, we're up against Jeff. And if I know any better, this is a matchup that we are all too familiar with. I'm just praying we don't hear those 3 dreadful words. You know them, we hate them. Say them together, team. Draw, phase, shifter. Unfortunately, that's exactly what we hear. Followed by the normal summon of a raisin, we scoop up game 1 real quick. We might have gotten our souls vanquished game 1, but we take game 2 and then move into game 3 where we open up only Horus cards, Droll, and Evenly. And I'm not a huge fan of Evenly in this deck, however, with our locals in mind, this is a card that I definitely think is mandatory for here. With a lot more rogue present, it puts in a ton of work, and so does this Droll, as our opponent ends on just a suboptimal board. The Evenly doesn't trade super well, but it does force them to clear their own back row, and that's all we were worried about. Imseti pitches our second Evenly that we top return, and it gets ashed. But that's okay, because we opened the King Sark anyways. A lot of builds I've seen recently have been on 2. I'm trying 3 today for scenarios just like this. King Sark is a card that I just want a hard open, and I'm glad we did. So our Zombie Vampire resolves, we hit a Droll, Foolish, Fenrir, and a Yugioh. A Yugioh! Suddenly our mill 4 becomes a mill 9, and I'm super glad that it does, because we hit a Suluk, which grabs us a Rhino, which can then send any card. Fenrir then grabs us our copy of Tier Cash. This is just enough to put enough presence on the board. Jeff picks up his cards, and it's time to celebrate. With luck like this, I'm really thinking we should play tonight's lottery, because they're definitely calling our numbers. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. If you know, you're old, just like me. But they just called round 3, so I guess we have to go back. Let's see if this is really our destiny. Please someone tell me you got those references.
Oh my god, we're playing Eldritch in 2023 and making Lost jokes. Imagine being such losers. Just kidding. I won my round 2, so I'll see you around there. What a dynamic matchup.
Right.
Yo, day 1 on your deck. Have fun, I'll pray for you.
Ryan smoked me.
No, what the hell? What happened?
I didn't see Shifter or Crow in game 3, and I went first. I got drolled. That was cool. You know.
Okay, cool.
He drolled me. I'm like, all right, we can do something. And he goes evenly. I'm like, okay, we'll keep the Zhao long so I can search. And then I asked the Imseti just for him to play King Sark and go off.
Oh no.
He was like
punished.
He was like,
always
punished.
Always punished.
He was like, yo, all right, cool.
Alright team, we did it. 5 episodes in, and we finally got Chan the Man on camera. And as I'm sure you know today, he's playing a different deck. Dark World took a dark turn, and it looks like everyone's trying to take a page out of Logan's book after topping the league last month and playing Vanquish Soul. We literally have like 6 Vanquish Soul players at this local alone. Is that normal?
Maybe not, but it is optimal. Vanquish Soul best deck, baby.
With numbers like these, it really does make sense that we're going to play this deck back to back. I do feel a little bad though because there's not a lot to report on, as this is just deja vu from round 2. We lost the roll, lost game 1 to Shifter. Game 2, we get to go first and we win, and then game 3, we open up Droll and Evenly. Literally the same thing that happened with Jeff. After baiting out an Ash Blossom with our Foolish Burial, Zombie Vampire resolves, and we hit a copy of Rhino and Hoffness. That's basically just it. Once this deck gets rolling, it's really hard to stop. It almost feels like we were a mermaid for this. We're able to set up full board and Chan just concedes. However, even though the game is over, the best part about playing Chandler is that we eat up the rest of the clock talking about the round. What he could have done differently, where we could have played a little bit more optimally, and just trying to learn from one another. I think that that's truly what this is all about. Learning and becoming a better player no matter what the outcome. We're undefeated going into the final round, but shout out to Chandler for always being one shell of a friend and an amazing opponent. Let's see what awaits us in our final round.
I'm not trying to say I'm a trendsetter or anything, but everyone's playing Vanquish Soul now. Now that I'm not on Vanquish Soul for Nomad in November, I just think it's really funny that everyone decided to pick the deck up. So I'm not saying I'm the best or anything, but I think I started something. Break number 2, baby.
How many breaks you get a day, bro?
I'm just checking on my kids, you know.
Welcome to the Graveyard, where I am sending all of my opponents today. We're 3-0, baby. One of my favorite parts about locals is that, well, anything can happen. And round 3 against Bobby was a perfect example of that. Bobby is our #1 Aluber enjoyer, the most hilariously cynical one at that. Usually I have to put up a really good fight against Bobby, but I guess today either the universe or Eldritch himself decided that bad RNG was going to be the curse of all of my opponents. Game 1, Bobby opened a hand consisting of only branded openings and branded fusions. Branded? More like brand dead, am I right? I go first game 1 and opt to not go for the zombie vampire line because I obviously know he's on branded and I really don't want to give him any potential resources. So we make Hope Harbinger because, well, branded fusion's kind of a big deal in this deck. And frankly, I need as many negates as I can get. With that, the full adventure engine and a skill drain vibing in the back row, I know that if I use my interruptions correctly, he shouldn't be able to get very far. Spoiler, he doesn't. I negate literally everything, but I do allow the branded fusion to resolve because as soon as that Albion hits the board, he's gonna be met with public enemy #1 for a lot of people, skill drain. I don't like this card, but my deck needs all the help it can get. It sucks to say, but game 2 is almost as upsetting and cruel because Bobby goes for the puppet lock in my draw phase, but we have droplet, sending our second copy of Extravagance and Enchantress to negate the Sanctifier and the Gargle face. God, this is so evil. Bobby reveals that he only has Cosmic and Super Poly in hand, and we have bagged another win for what I am dubbing as Ew, the deck. Eldritch Adventures with Porous. Ew. I think that's hilarious. Can we just make that one stick for me? It's pronounced ew because it's disgusting how good Eldritch can be in 2023. Round 4 better watch out because we are 3-0 and I am sick with that Scarlet Sanguine. Victor, did you win?
I quit.
No, Victor, no! Dude, come on, I'm just trying to root for you, man.
Everybody is. The universe isn't rooting for me.
Oh, Jason Bourne.
That's a hand, man.
That is a Bourne hand if I've ever seen one.
True hand. This is a true duelist hand.
Feast your eyes on the greatest thing we've ever purchased.
Oh my god, no way. Oh yeah, yeah, we need multiple of these.
Suns.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, got my new Q Llama dice, and look at team. It matches my mat. Same color scheme, all of it. We're stunting out here with the sun dice.
Oh, long time no see. That was my Chris impression. Get it? Anyways, this round we played Wells, and we have yet again another Rescue Ace matchup on our hands. Or so I thought. Today he's apparently playing Blue Eyes because after winning the dice roll and drawing 5 cards, he just passes turn. The brick is real, baby. We take full advantage of that and take him to a really quick game 2 where we open all gas. This hand is broken, and we have Hoffness. Hoffness resolves. We mill both of our Horus names and Scream. Sounds like a +3 to me. And just as we think this can't get any better, we top deck the Feather Duster. As if Imseti pitch Kelbeck wasn't enough, now we have no back row to worry about. This match feels free. We are on fire today, and even though Wells is playing Rescue Ace, we might be a little too hot to put out. We take the match 2-0, and that solidifies our day of undefeated. I'm not gonna lie, this deck feels insane. Today was a mermazing day, and even though all these cards are at 1, the consistency that we talked about earlier really didn't seem to matter. It honestly feels like old school tier all over again. We played against a bunch of back row decks and shifter decks, but we had an absolute blast doing it. This is for my homie Kit Kalos up in the big pond in the sky. I know she's watching, and I hope she's proud. Today went swimmingly, and since I got the pair down, let's go see if Logan also was able to go undefeated today.
I can't believe I'm saying this, team, but we went undefeated 4-0 with Eldritch in 2023. I'm quite literally shooketh. Daddy came home and Daddy delivered. I truly feel like a golden gal because this deck cooked better than some of my meta decks do. I literally 2-0'd everyone today. Not a single game 3 in sight, baby. I think it really goes to show that in this format, anything is possible. As long as you are piloting confidently, know your interactions, you can literally play whatever you want. With that being said, for round 4, Neil is usually one of mine and Brian's toughest opponents because he plays Rescue Ace and we all know that deck is bonkers. Or at least it was until Eldritch busted in and said, call an ambulance. But not for me. Game 1 skill drain carried, and I'm not even gonna cap. It's put in the deck literally for this matchup. To be fair though, my board here is absolutely bonkers. We have SP, Griffin, and the Horus engine on top of all of it. So it's not like it's just skill drain putting in the work. I actually had to make sure to time my interruptions properly because newsflash, skill drain affects both players, and I'm not trying to wee-woo, we lose. So we pick up game 1, and going into game 2, obviously Neil opts to go first and sets up good old Turb set 4. And unfortunately for Neil, I feel straight up mean because I have evenly in my hand. So on my turn, I just let him play to his heart's content and activate all of his cards because I'm just gonna yeet all that away. Main phase 2 comes around, I set up, use my zombie vampire to yoink his preventer and make SP and get a sanguine in the end phase so that if I need to wall up on his turn, I can. So even though we can't close out the game, Neil's all out of gas and his fire trucks are stuck at the station. So we end up taking the match 2-0, and let me tell you, I have never beat Rescue Ace, and the fact that I just beat it with Eldritch of all decks is absolutely wild to me. It's so satisfying. Remember that vindication we talked about? This is it. I didn't even summon Eldritch in either of those games. I just used the engine to bait interruption, which is why I love this deck so much in the build, because with 3 different engines, you can just lean on whichever one is more beneficial to you and then utilize whatever resources you need on the clapback. It's crazy. And once the ball starts rolling and you get all 3 in motion, it's impossible to stop them. AJ, you should be proud of me. I had the best comeback of all time. I went from 74th place at the OTS to 4-0 today.
Woo! That's a huge change. What were you playing?
Eldritch Horus Brave, the best deck ever created.
The number one
apparently.
deck. Stay tuned for profile.
74th and 1st all at once.
I'll need it.
So since we went 4-0 today, team, here is the list. Now try to take this with a bit of a grain of salt. Of course, it's bricky, it's Eldritch, and it does not have the consistency that a tier 1 deck does. This is a conglomeration of different engines that really complement one another, but also kind of need a 2 to 3 card combo. So if you have some patience and a little bit of grace, but want to have a lot of fun, this is definitely the deck for you. I genuinely did not think this deck was going to shine the way it did today, and I'm really happy I got to share it with you for No Meta November. So hopefully I made you all a little bit proud, and our favorite Golden Daddy too. Finger guns.
Not on break. I'm throwing the trash out.
Throwing out the trash. Wait, hang on. Let me hop in. Let me hop in. That's my house.
Stop.
Oh, happy holidays.
Yeah, oh, happy holidays. Oh my God. So if this season's rough for you, I understand and I am here for you and I love you.
Absolutely.
And don't let it keep you down. You can always find something to do. So don't be by yourself.
And we're all here in the sub squad. We
Right.
have each other's
Right.
backs,
And
know?
you matter. You matter.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holidays, everybody, and I love you guys.
Aw, we love you too.
Oh.
Excellent showing today, team. Brian and I both managed to go undefeated to close out No Meta November. He got the pair down round 4, which means we both got to go undefeated, which is a very rare occurrence and tough to do, but we did it. I'm really excited for December. For what, Brian? Why are we excited for December?
We have the Invitational
We
where we get to
do.
compete for first place for the
league.
year, baby.
So if we win or do well, we could get really cool stuff and a bell. And whoa, the acoustics in here are absolutely terrible. But we're really excited to not open the door. Great. Sick.
You don't
I didn't even know you was into leftovers like that.
I'm not. I actually hate leftovers.
I also hate leftovers.
I don't eat. I don't like Thanksgiving leftovers. I don't eat.
No,
Like, I don't eat.
I don't like reheating food. I don't know why.
The most foul smell
Yeah.
is when you open the bag of turkey and you're like, what the hell is that? Yeah, no, I'm good.